And welcome back, everybody. Aaron 1249, G41 Oscar, you prefer. Where's Delta? Delta, there you are. Companions finally want to talk about what happened. So let's talk to them real fast. Also, I'm really determined to figure out a new schematic for my ship. I'm gonna call it the Huntsman 2 when I get a chance. Is that Delta over there? Yeah, that looks like Delta. Alright, let's talk.
Happy to listen. If you have a moment, I'd like to talk about your decision not to turn the Terran robots against their masters. As someone in a leadership position, I can empathize with having to make tough choices. I'm just curious how you came to your decision. Ah, by the book then. People mock training manuals, but I find them handy regardless of the situation. I understand the temptation to set the robots to frenzy. They were military weapons and would be held in military facilities. But I believe shooting a defenseless target may violate certain statutes, and it's possible there were civilian personnel that could have been harmed in the aftermath. And I support your temperance. It would have been easy to mete out your revenge given they brought the war to us. Regardless, I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard from the Terrans. While at Constellation, our primary directive is exploring. Part of that journey means tangling with the occasional hostile. My only hope is that those occasions are few and far between.
I mean, I don't know. They could be pretty fun to have.
Dusty. Dusty. Dusty.
I hear ya.
Dusty looks like another crazy adventure is in the books. X-Tech, angry death robots. There's just so much to unpack. Yes, centuries even. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the concept of X-Tech. Do we even understand how it works? Do we need to? It harkens back to early studies on the human brain. Psychiatrists would prescribe treatments they knew were effective, but didn't fundamentally understand how. Very. But then you have a moral dilemma, because your patients are sick. Either way, this is what makes the work ahead so important and necessary. Exploring and understanding the unknown is the great cat-and-mouse game we play with the universe. For example, I'd love to see what makes a robot like Delta tick. Or talk. With their permission, of course. Well, this is just a hypothesis, and I have no data to back it up. But given its disbursement seems random, and we don't have a clear explanation for how it's created, I would posit that it doesn't originate from our universe. Crazy, I know, but it's what I think. You and me both. But yeah, similar to the artifacts, the very existence of X-Tech fills me with so many questions. What happens when we melt it? What happens if you freeze it? What happens if we do both in a microgravity environment before blasting it with lasers? Because there has to be other uses for it besides making death robots. And I bet the Terrans know it. So selfishly, I hope we can someday talk to their scientists and learn what they know. And I think you sparing their people was the first step. Anywho, my larger hope is that we learn from the lessons of the past.
Yes, your immaculateness. What can I do for you?
Heaven is having a smooth-running ship with a crew of friends. Hey, I just wanted to have a chat about what happened with the Terrans. I know the choice wasn't easy, so I figured I'd pick your brain a bit. Yeah, And it's fine to agonize over it. And to be honest, if it were me, I wouldn't have spared those Terran bastards. I get not wanting to wipe them out, but I've got a daughter to think about. And our people come first. I'm always worried. Maybe right now she's safe, but those Terrans are still out there. And the moment she comes of age, it's about the time they'll be coming back for another round. You wouldn't be killing them. They'd have every chance to fight back. But I get that there's civilians in that group too. And that's why I can't be too mad about it. Even if these incursions are gonna raise hell, you had to vote with your conscience. But outside of the choice itself, how are you feeling? Carrying the weight of a decision like that can sometimes be the hardest part. That's what I'm afraid of. Well, just wanted to make sure you're all right.
A credit for your thoughts, as they say.
I would like to discuss what happened with the Terrans. I could not help but see the parallels with House Va'ruun. As such, I hesitate to judge them so blindly. Agreed, but it may also be a trained response for them, to strike first in order to survive. On that note, I must ask your thought process regarding that final decision. After all, it would have been understandable to turn the robots against their creators, given they were the aggressors. Yes, but at times it is hard to see the forest for the trees, especially when violence is involved. In any case, I have found this experience enlightening. One might argue the Terran attack mirrors House Va'ruun's appearance so many years ago. So, it is interesting to view it from this perspective. The Terrans are more violent, but antagonistic acts can take many forms. From that lens, one might argue the United Colonies are the most antagonistic of all. I will ruminate on this more later. For now, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Yep. Now, Samco, I'm going to argue that, with Samco, I don't know, maybe I was hasty, maybe I wasn't, but let's be honest. Would you be okay wiping out civilians?
Short location nearby. Most effective form of nutrition consumption.
Thanks, Delta. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.